Okay. Right, pal. Right, everybody, please be seated. Good to go. I'm going to take a minute. Deep breath, deep breath. Okay, good afternoon everyone, and welcome to this joyous occasion on this fantastic day in this beautiful setting. On behalf of Rebecca and Gordon, I thank you all for being here today as they make their promises and commitments to one another, in the presence of those who are most important to them, and that is of course you, their families and friends. Now, in case you're thinking, who's this strange guy standing up here, I better introduce myself. I'm Graham, and I've been a friend of this man's for close to 20 years. We worked in Slater Menswear together as teenagers, and ours is a close bond, an indivisible bond that's been forged over countless pints of Guinness. 7 years ago, however, Rebecca came along and added some class to our friendship dynamic, and now we get drunk in wine bars. As a close friend to both of them, Rebecca and Gordon have asked me to act as celebrant today. And as such, they've entrusted me to reflect the story of their relationship and to offer a friend's perspective on why theirs is such a beautiful partnership. Now, these are two people that I love very, very much. So for me, it's an absolute honour. Now, yeah, it's hard for me too. Now, if some of this seems a bit unorthodox, please forgive me. I am not a registered humanist celebrant. So my defence as I go through this is simply that I do not know what I'm doing, right? That being said, Gordon did have the idea originally that I could become formally ordained for a small fee via some dodgy website. And it was promptly put to him that this is not how it's done, is it, Marjorie? Yeah. So, no. So instead, I'm here to offer a friend's perspective on their relationship with the support of a qualified professional, and Marjorie McGee from the Scottish Humanist Society. Now, Marjorie will be solemnising the wedding, so as I bumble along, please be kind and show us love. But before we go any further, before we go on, a quick word at the start of the show, and that is, of course, Rebecca. Now, I know it's customary at these things for anyone that delivers a speech to laud how beautiful the bride looks. However, I don't think anyone here would take issue if I said that Rebecca is one of the most stunning brides that I think you'll see at any wedding, anywhere, ever. I think there was a collective intake of breath, certainly when we saw her starting to walk through the grove. So there you are. And he's no bad either. No, he's still got the better eyelashes, by the way. So, let's take a moment to introduce the happy couple's bridal party. First of all, we have the maid of honour, and that is Lindsay, who I believe is Rebecca's cousin. And we have the bridesmaids, stroke best friends, Lauren and Nicola. Representing the youth, we have Lindsay's 3 children, Isla, Ailey and Innes. Exactly. And on Gordon's side of things, we have me, celebrant extraordinaire, obviously. And we've got the best men, John and Chrissy. And I'm sure we're all looking forward to their bit later on. Then, of course, the parents of the happy couple. We have Rebecca's parents, Suzanne and Ross, And we have Gordon's parents, Janet and Alan, with us today. I think you'll all agree when I say that the chaps are looking resplendent, the ladies are looking drop dead gorgeous, and the kids are looking absolutely cracking. So, well done, team. Yeah. And so, we're here today witnessing, sharing, and enjoying this loving celebration of marriage. Rebecca and Gordon, thank you again, especially those who have travelled some distance to be here and are very much looking forward to you enjoying all the laughs, meeting up with old friends, and hopefully making some new ones along the way. Now, obviously, with COVID restrictions, there are many more friends and relatives we would have liked to have had with us today. But Rebecca and Gordon miss them very much and are very much looking forward to celebrating with them at the soonest possible opportunity. And of course, beyond COVID, there are those who could not be with us today, and in any event, and they will be within our thoughts throughout today. Now, before I move on to the story of Gordon and Rebecca, their love story, a wee note on the location. We're gathered here in a beautiful venue with some stunning Scottish countryside round about us. I'm sure that Gordon and Rebecca could have picked from many lovely venues, but this place is actually somewhere that's close to Rebecca's heart in particular. I do believe that she's got family in the area, and of course her dad, Ross, was born only about 10 minutes away from here. Yes, in a pub. Would you have it? Called the Cross Keys. So there you go. Hotel, sorry. Oh, well, okay. Aye. Are you going to deal with me later? First mistake. However, a beautiful venue, but one with real significance to the happy couple. So, on to the story of Gordon and Rebecca, Rebecca and Gordon. Gordon and Bex as we commonly know her, a lot of us commonly know her, met a few years before they officially met. They randomly met in a pub, and at the end of the night, sat on a wall outside talking for ages. Bex's friend Nicola Mitchell will remember how difficult it was to drag Bex away from Gordon that night to go to an after party. So after this chance encounter, all Bex had was Gordon's first name, the fact that he'd lived in London at some point in the past, and that he played jazz piano. After that night, she didn't see Gordon again, or at least for some time. However, Bex had made such a big deal about this mystery man to her mum and to her friends that when she walked into Gordon's classroom a few years later, when she became a qualified teacher herself, she made the call after work to her mum and her friends, which went something like, "You're never going to believe whose classroom I just walked into." To which her mum and friends didn't retort with, "What are you talking about?" It was, "No way, that guy. Well, this must be fate." Later that week, Bex went to a local card shop where one of Gordon's friends happened to work, coincidentally. Yeah. And the person knew Bex and said to Bex, "Oh, what are you up to?" And she replied, "Well, I'm teaching up at the academy part-time at the moment." To which said friend replied, "Ah, you're that hot drama teacher that Clarky's been drumming on about." The next day, Bex goes into work and Gordon goes, "I knew you from somewhere." So, from that, Bex and Gordon started chatting. Meanwhile, one of the drama teachers at Kilsyth Academy asked Bex to stick her number down in a post-it note so she could contact her later in that week, presumably for, or what she thought, boring work stuff, right? The teacher, I think her name was Rachel, yeah, then turns round to Bex and says, "I'm just going to go next door and pass this on to Mr. Music Man." Bex replies to this, "Oh my God, don't you dare. What if he's not interested?" Right? The other drama teacher laughed and did it anyway. And then Bex waited a full week. A full week, Gordon. Before she received a reply text, right? In the first couple of messages back and forth, Gordon had apologised for not getting in touch sooner. But he'd been spending some time with his granddad and wanted to wait until he had the time to make plans before messaging. Now, Bex found this really sweet, and it ticks another box for her, because she really realised that Gordon was, in fact, a bit of a family man. So, Bex and Gordon go on their first date together. Gordon picks Bex up from her mum and dad's house, and Bex's mum and Gran Jean did their usual to try and be as subtle as possible as they peeked out the window to get a good view of the suitor, right? Gran Jean decided it would be a better idea to maybe hang out some washing, i.e. random tea towels from the kitchen drawer in order to get a better swatch of the suitor. He got the seal of approval. And from that they went on their first date. Yay, exactly. They went on their first date to the Hillhead Book Club, which some of you might know in town, where they chatted loads, got to know each other, laughed a lot, flirted, and ended up taking the night on to Oranmore, where they get drunker and drunker, and had their first kiss. This became a regular occurrence for Bex and Gordon, where their nice date nights would turn into late nights. To not being able to go home until the sun was coming up because they were always having so much fun and didn't want their time together to come to an end. Now, ever since I've known him, Gordon's been quite popular with the ladies, right? Maybe it was the fact he was a jazz musician. In fact, I know I was because I watched him play that card enough times, right? Or, to be kind, maybe it was his exuberant nature. Maybe it was those big Bambi eyelashes. Either way, when he met Bex, his friends could sense that this one was perhaps different. I would like to think he listened to me, because when I first met Bex, I think my words to him were, and this is as close to verbatim as I can remember, I think you want to cash your chips there, mate, because you're not beating this one. Right? Seems he agreed. So much so that the night Gordon decided he was going to make it official and asked Bex to be his girlfriend. Girlfriend? His bud. You see when he like happened there? Freudian slip, right? His bud. They went to the Blue Dog in town for some cocktails. And then who rocks up but Ed Sheeran, right? So Ed Sheeran stoats in from playing a gig at the Hydro that night and promptly chucks the musicians off stage, grabs a mic, grabs a guitar and starts singing the song Thinking Out Loud. Now, smooth operator that Gordon is, he saw his chance, leant in for a kiss and gently asked, "Would you be my girlfriend, Rebecca?" A couple months down the line, Rebecca's working in a wee diner in Stirling called Toast. And the shop phone rings. And it was Gordon, right? Whose partner calls you about, right? Who does that, right? So, it was Gordon asking her middle name because he was wanting to book them a flight to Paris. Indeed. Ooh la la. So, Bex was surprised at this because nobody had done anything for like this for her before. And she phoned her mum and dad just to double check that this was in fact a normal thing to do at this juncture in the relationship. Susie and Ross, however, obviously gave their stamp of approval, and Gordon and Rebecca shot off for a very amazing and romantic trip in the City of Lights together. However, they then had to spend some time apart, and this was when Rebecca moved to Aberdeen to study for her PGDE. Luckily for Gordon, Bex is a massive home bird and would drive 2.5 and 3.5 hours home every Friday just to make sure that they could spend as much time together as possible. They made the best out of a bad situation and got through a very tough year together. Now, during this time, Gordon learned a lot from Susie and Ross and how to cope with Bex' meltdowns, whilst capturing every emotion expressed from Bex via Skype and FaceTime during her time in Aberdeen. Bex was, though, very grateful that Gordon persevered through this and stuck around to then go on their mini Phileas Fogg adventure around Europe together. Starting off in Normandy with Gordon's mum and sister and family, and then heading off for 3 weeks to see parts of the world together, making lots of memories along the way. Like trying to find the best tiramisu in Rome, the best ice cream in Milan, drinking lots of wine and watching sunsets in Florence. You silver-tongued cavalier. Canoeing in Interlaken, sightseeing in Switzerland, drinking champagne and eating the best chocolates in Brussels, enjoying live music and gigs at festivals in Ghent, to then finally arriving in Amsterdam and feeling high on life.
Sorry, Mum, Dad.
It's all coming out now. Now, Bex has always been a bit of a worrier, and it's usually the little things that she has no control over that stress her out. So, when the idea arose of moving out and leaving her beloved house in Bantone, everyone was a bit nervous as to how this was going to go down. However, everyone was just as surprised at how smooth that transition was for Bex to leave home and move into her first home with Gordon. And what a lovely home they have created together. A year later, Bex and Gordon decided that they wanted to take the next step in adulthood life and become parents. Right? Bex insisted on that pun, not me, right? So they welcomed their ginger fur baby into their life and have gone on to have some amazing adventures with Alfie since. Now, those of you that have met Alfie will know, but those who haven't met him, I can attest that he's loving, doting, loyal, full of fun, mad as a box of frogs, right? His father's son. So, the following Christmas, Gordon decided that he was going to propose to Rebecca. Now, this was obviously a nerve-wracking experience. So the night before, Christmas Eve, they're sitting down watching a film together. And it just so happens in this film, one character turns to the other and asks them to marry them. To which Bex commented, "Oh, I'd absolutely hate that. Like, what a whitey. Like, imagine that person said no on Christmas Day, right? Christmas is ruined forever, dampener forever and more, no way, not for me, no thanks Pedro, right?" Now, Gordon was obviously feeling brave, because it could have backfired, but he also took from that the element of surprise. Bex had no idea. Or, the other interpretation is that it was a genius move on his part, and that Bex knew, but she could not bear to ruin Christmas forever and more. Either way, you're lumped with him now, right? Gordon and Bex have always been each other's #1 fans. They celebrate the wee wins and the big wins, like managing to stay friends after building furniture together, learning to cook some decent dishes together. Bex being a proud Dear Tenement fan after Gordon decided to start the band and record a successful album. Not killing each other when someone doesn't put their dirty socks and underwear in the laundry basket. Or, and I like this one, when someone is so fed up with a mess but can't be bothered dealing with it themselves, so they stick it in the shed in the hope that the other person doesn't notice. That's quite good, actually. I like that. Note for the future.
Out of sight, out of mind.
But also, the late nights helping each other study for promotions. Now, it should be noted here that such is their symbiotic relationship, that Gordon and Rebecca were actually both promoted recently and in the same week. So there you go, folks. We've maybe got a burgeoning power couple on our hands as well. And through all of this, Gordon and Bex have come to realise that they can do all of these things, but that they have a better chance if they work together and care for each other's wants, needs and desires. They know that relationships aren't always easy, and there will always be a few bumps along the road. But they've promised each other they will stop, take a minute, breathe, and appreciate the view along the way, side by side. Now, that's an overview. That's an overview of Gordon and Rebecca's story together. Obviously, they've approached me to conduct this part of the ceremony, and I'm extremely honoured to do so. But they were also keen to include a close friend's perspective on their relationship, and that's why I am here. However, I'm aware that I'm representing a very large group of friends for whom Clarkie and Bex, as most of us know them, are people that they hold very, very dear. I know Bex has a very close group of friends, and anybody that follows her Instagram will know exactly how popular she is. Certainly her Midsummer Night's Hen looked like a riot. Yep. As for this man, he's an integral part of a group of boys that have essentially grown up together and become almost like brothers. So, with that in mind, I hope my following words adequately represent what you two both mean to us and how we see you, okay? Like myself, Gordon and Rebecca are both teachers. Get lost. Gordon is a music and music tech teacher, and Rebecca is a drama and pupil sports guidance teacher, okay? Now, I must say that this is a very fitting profession for both of them. Talented and fiercely passionate about their subjects, I know that these are not merely jobs for Gordon and Rebecca, but vocations. As a fellow high school teacher, I can spot people whose passion for supporting, educating and developing young people runs deep and is in fact genuine. So the pupils of Kilsyth Academy and Greenfields High School are blessed to have such inspiring adults in their lives for whom teaching is truly a calling. Now, at the end of term, it's fairly standard that teachers receive a few thank you cards, maybe even a gift, right? And that's precisely what Gordon and I got. Handshake, see you later, thanks for everything. Bex, however, was deluged by a tsunami of cards from what's obviously a bit of a burgeoning fan club. Now, the role of a pupil support or guidance teacher requires a certain type of personality, and reading these cards underlines just how nurturing, caring and empathetic Rebecca really is. Without going into personal details or specifics of the cards, some of them were extremely moving. Young people making it clear in writing just how much Rebecca has impacted their lives and made their lives better. And what a tribute that is to somebody that you in fact make other people's lives better. And that's a quality each and every one of us sees in you, Rebecca. As for Gordon, a funnier, more charismatic, more effervescent personality you'll never meet, and a more loyal friend there is none. Oh God, I'm going to go now. From going to gigs, to going to parties, to drinking in dive pubs, to getting purposefully lost in strange parts of Europe, I've done it all with this guy at my side. And as we get older, it can be difficult, particularly for men in some cases, to maintain the friendships we had when we were young. But this has not been a problem for us at all. The only difference now is that as a friendship group, we have another friend to grow disgracefully with, and that's Rebecca. And this is a point I'd like to emphasise. I'm not here as a friend of Gordon's marrying him off to some nice lassie. I'm marrying two of my dear friends. Now, I'm not a superstitious person, but the word that I would use to encapsulate Gordon and Rebecca's relationship is soulmate. Perhaps the stars aligned the night that they met. Perhaps it was fate. Perhaps it was a simple case of beautiful serendipity. Whatever the case, theirs is an archetype for love. Never have I known two people who appeared to be so designed for each other. Like Romeo and Juliet, Abelard and Eloise, Antony and Cleopatra, Paris and Helen, McCoist and Haitley, Sutton and Larson, Tupac and Biggie. Hopefully their relationship doesn't go the way of the last one. But anyway, referencing 90s old firm players and hip hop's an indication that we aren't getting any younger, and it's definitely an indication that it's time for me to pass over to Marjorie, the professional, for the important part. So thanks for bearing with me.
Well done.
I can't believe you stole my speech, mate.
Thank you, Graham. That was absolutely fabulous. I'm sure I speak on behalf of everybody when we say great, absolutely wonderful. Okay, now, Gordon and Rebecca, please hold hands if you can. Okay, I'll stand to the side. Okay. Okay. And now to the most important part of the ceremony, where Rebecca and Gordon will take their legal vows. But before they do, they are going to exchange their personal vows. Gordon, please repeat your first vows after me. I promise to be open-minded and treat you with respect.
I promise to be open-minded and treat you with respect.
Okay. To be patient, kind and thoughtful, and to do my best to keep you smiling through whatever life brings.
To be patient, kind and thoughtful, and to do my best to keep you smiling through whatever life brings.
Your happiness is the key to my happiness, our happiness, and our future.
Your happiness is the key to my happiness, our happiness, and our future.
And now your second vows. I promise to always make the time for us to grow together.
I promise to always make the time for us to grow together.
Celebrate your success.
Celebrate your success.
Spend time with family and not let life get in the way.
Spend time with family and not let life get in the way.
To go on dates.
To go on dates.
Have adventures.
Have adventures.
Discover new places.
Discover new places.
And be there for you whenever you need me.
And be there for you whenever you need me.
Thank you, Gordon. Well done. That was good. Thank you. Okay. Now, Rebecca, can you please repeat after me your first vows? I promise to be open-minded and treat you with respect.
Promise to be open-minded and treat you with respect.
To be patient, kind and thoughtful.
To be patient, kind and thoughtful.
And to do my best to keep you smiling through whatever life brings.
And to do my best to keep you smiling through whatever life brings.
Your happiness is the key to my happiness.
Your happiness is the key to my happiness.
Our happiness and our future together.
Our happiness and our future together.
And now on to your second vows. I promise to always make time for us to grow together.
I promise to always make time for us to grow together.
Celebrate your successes.
Celebrate your successes.
To spend time with family and not let life get in the way.
To spend time with family and not let life get in the way.
To go on dates.
To go on dates.
To have adventures.
To have adventures.
Discover new places.
Discover new places.
And be there for you whenever you need me.
And be there for you.
Gordon and Rebecca, the rings and vows which you are about to exchange are an ancient symbol of your love for one another. Gordon, please place the ring, if we have the ring, on Rebecca's finger and repeat after me. Okay. Okay. Place the ring on Rebecca's finger and repeat after me. Rebecca, I give you this ring as a symbol of my enduring love for you.
Rebecca, I give you this ring as a symbol of my enduring love for you.
It is an embrace that surrounds and supports you.
It's an embrace that surrounds and supports you.
It is a symbol of wholeness and peace,
It is a symbol of wholeness and peace,
now and always.
now and always.
Rebecca,
Rebecca,
I solemnly and sincerely declare
I solemnly and sincerely declare
that I, Gordon Clark,
that I, Gordon Clark,
accept you,
accept you,
Rebecca McAngus,
Rebecca McAngus,
as my lawfully wedded wife,
as my lawfully wedded wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer,
for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
till death do us part.
till death do us part.
Thank you. Well done. Well done. That's it. Okay. Now, Rebecca, would you please place the ring on Gordon's finger and repeat after me?
Nice. So nice.
Okay. Place the ring on his finger and repeat after me. Gordon, I give you this ring as a symbol of my enduring love for you.
Gordon, I give you this ring as a symbol of my enduring love for you.
It is an embrace that surrounds and supports you.
It's an embrace that surrounds and supports you.
It is a symbol of wholeness and peace,
It's a symbol of wholeness and peace,
now and always.
now and always.
Gordon,
Gordon,
I solemnly and sincerely declare
I solemnly and sincerely declare.
you're marrying Gordon, no me.
Can
Can we start again?
Go, go, go.
Gordon, I solemnly and sincerely declare
Gordon. Solemnly and sincerely declare
that I, Rebecca McAngus,
that I, Rebecca McAngus,
accept you, Gordon Clark,
accept you, Gordon Clark,
as my lawfully wedded husband,
as my lawfully wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer,
for better, worse, richer and poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
till death do us part.
till death do us part.
Gordon Clark and Rebecca McAngus, by virtue of the declarations you have made in my presence and in the presence of your witnesses, I have much pleasure in declaring you married. In ancient tradition, you are welcome to seal your marriage with a kiss. Well done, congratulations. Oh, well done, that was great. Brilliant. Oh dear, I'm all aflutter. Family and friends, Rebecca and Gordon are now going to sign their marriage schedule with their witnesses, but please don't go away because Graham will be back in a few minutes to continue with the shenanigans, okay? So thank you everyone, thank you. Oh, congratulations. Thank you.
Alright, I'm sorry. You up there? Okay. Welcome back, everyone. Rebecca and Gordon are now going to symbolically represent their marriage in the ancient tradition of hand fasting. And I will be tying a ribbon around their joined hands as a way of confirming their union. Now, this is actually from Susie and Ross's wedding shawl, so it stays within the family. There we are. Hand fasting is an ancient Celtic ritual, and if you ever wondered where the expression tying the knot comes from, now you know. It was a symbolic way of showing that you're joined to one another, although the original idea was that you be betrothed for a year and a day. This one is a hand fast that will last for life. Okay? So, Rebecca, Gordon, please hold hands. Sandwiches.
Sandwiches?
Sandwiches, yep.
Ooh.
There we are.
Look how nice that
There we are. The first knot is for Gordon's love for Rebecca. The second knot is for Rebecca's love for Gordon. I need my script. Gordon and Rebecca, today on your wedding day, as you promise to love each other forever, you are holding the hands of your best friend. These are the hands that will work alongside yours as together you build your future. These are the hands that will passionately love you and cherish you through the years. These are the hands that will give you strength and support as you need it. And as your hands are joined together today, so may your hearts always be. Gordon and Rebecca, you may remove the hand fast, but the knot must never be untied. And you can take it off. There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry? We get back in front of the camera.
Yeah.
In front of the camera. Okay, so I think everyone, now the formalities are done with, it's time to have a right good party. So, before we do that though, I would like everyone to be upstanding for the new Mr. and Mrs. McAngus Clark.